our X Division champion, Mustafa Ali, joins us here on Busted Open. Sir, thank you so much for the time, and congratulations on all the success.
I appreciate that, but I would love to be in some sweatpants right now, so I'm quite...
But you can't, because you're on this campaign, you're changing lives, you're changing wrestling fans' opinions, which are very difficult to do, sir, but you're also killing it as the X Division champion. So how has it been now being a part of TNA and being the X Division champion?
Amazing, historic, all these huge words, but the reality of the situation is I'm happy. For the first time in a long time, I'm happy. And I know Mr. Nemeth's been on the show, and he's spoken about his happiness.
My father's never been on the show.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Nick, as he likes to be.
Thank you.
He's on he's on one.
But yeah, happiness is just something that I think we both have been chasing for a very, very long time, and now we're at this road where we're in the driver's seat, and now we are responsible for our own happiness. So I think you can see it on my face. Friends, family, everyone, coworkers, people. We were in Philadelphia for WrestleMania week. We ran into a bunch of old colleagues, and they all said the same thing, like, we've never seen you happier. And I go, yeah, because I'm happy. And that's not a knock on anyone. It's just nice to kind of finally be in somewhat of control of what makes you happy. So above all, despite making history, despite sellout records and having matches all over the world, and this world tour that's been unbelievably successful, above everything else, happiness.
I'm gonna put David on blast on this one. David was very upset of how you were being booked for a long time, and he was very vocal about it.
He was the only one.
I'm still waiting for the end of Retribution. Like I still think this is a ruse. I still think this is a ruse, and that Retribution is going to play out.
Long-term storytelling, guys. You think the Cody 2-year story was good? This is going to be 15 years.
The big swerve is that Nick is actually the leader.
No, but
you just killed the next 8 years of my life. Ruined everything.
No, but seriously, like the way that you've been able to create your own story and build your own image, and not only that, being super successful in the independent scene, because you've been booked every single week, 3 or 4 times a week. Like from being in the darkest moments in when you were in WWE and they didn't know what they were doing with you, to now, what do you think has been the thing that you had to do to change it all?
Well, I thank you for all the kind words, Miss Rosa. But the big thing is, and everyone in the industry, like, I don't know if this is pulling back the curtain too much, but it's all perception, right? Like, there's a lot of good wrestlers, a lot. Yeah, to me, it's harder to find the bad ones. On every show and every company, like, there's great matches. What it comes down to is presentation, and that's something that I've always been chasing. When I left WWE, I left with an incredible sense of peace of mind. People in the past that have been let go, they all told me one thing. They said, I wish I tried a little harder. I wish I fought a little bit more. Again, I just keep bringing up Nick because he was there. He saw me go through it. There wasn't a week where I wasn't knocking on someone's door. There wasn't a week where I didn't have an idea. And like, I wasn't obsessive, like every single week trying to get, but hey, I have this idea. And I think I went through like 7, 8 different variations. I left WWE knowing full well I could look myself in the mirror knowing there was nothing else for me to offer. It just wasn't a fit at that time. So now everyone's like, congratulations on this success. Yes, a lot of time, money, and thought went into what I'm going to do, how I'm going to present myself. But that's what any good TV company would do when they've selected, like, okay, this is going to be the guy, or this is going to be the girl. They present you like one. They present you like a star. So all I've done is like, okay, if I believe in myself this much, then back it up, put the money behind it, put the time in it. So that World Tour campaign video that I dropped, it was a whole marketing campaign about it. I had lined up these bookings. No one was allowed to announce anything until I told them. So I believe the day that it dropped was 12/21. So at 12:21 p.m., the video went out. The video is 2 minutes long, the campaign video. At 12:23 p.m., all the companies announced my appearances. So my vision was, people are going to watch this video. I'm going to tell them that I'm taking over the globe. And right when they're done watching this video and they go back onto X, they just see me booked everywhere. That was the strategy behind it. And I'd say it worked.
Most important thing that you glossed over for a second was something that everyone asked me when you and I were venting back and forth for 5 years or whatever. People come up to me like, what should I do? Should I knock on the door? Should I do this? And so if you think you can go to sleep at night and wake up tomorrow and no longer be in New York, did you do everything you possibly could to make that work somehow, or get your foot in the door, or start something? And if you can, and you can, just like you said, you can look yourself in the eye and said, I gave it everything, because exactly like you said, there's so many stories like, man, I wish I would have just pitched this one more thing. I wish I would have just tried this one more thing and went with it. And sometimes you don't get a second chance. I was lucky I had a couple of chances to do different things, but sometimes you get one and you're out the door and you live with that regret. Even if you become successful somewhere else, you had that moment. You're like, I had a chance to go talk to Vince and tell him this, and I didn't. And then you found a way to constantly keep doing that, constantly be pitching ideas, being affable, being ready to be like, I'll do this idea. Let me get a chance to do something, just be a part of your show, and then I'll take it my way. And it, like you said, it was not a great fit, and now crushing it. And here's the dream. My dream's to cover of Playboy, but you're the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You're on the cover. You're the cover guy. That is such a huge deal. There it is.
Wow.
I remember when Miz got on the cover of WWE magazine, and I go, this is a special moment for the guys outside of the gold circle. And dude, you're that Pro Wrestling Illustrated, you're on the cover, you're crushing it everywhere you go. You're our champion. You had a big match coming up on Saturday at the Palms. Lay it on us. How's Jake something going down? What's the deal?
Well, you brought up PWI, so I just want to bring up a quick point because I know time is of the essence. But and I said this on social media, as a kid, growing up reading PWI, the big thing was I'm a Muslim American, right? So like the closest thing to representation I had was Muhammad Hassan and Apu from The Simpsons. Like that was it, right? And Apu is not even from my religion. So kind of not the greatest set of representation. And I had sketched something out when I was younger. And it was basically me reading the magazine as a kid, and with the little air bubble, like the cartoon air bubble. And it says, why doesn't anyone look like me? So it's very, very cool that almost like 20 years later, I get to go, oh, now there's someone that looks like you. So I don't know. It just means a lot that the name was, I've been told several times that no one's going to really get behind someone named Mustafa Ali. It's a hard name. It's a hard hill to climb. But here we are on the cover of PWS. So yeah, that's super cool. What's not super cool is Jake Something is the #1 contender for the X Division Championship. I've been adamant about this on TNA programming, on social media. Jake Something is 3 times my size. How does any of this make sense? When you think of the X Division, guys, Rosa, David, Nick, when you guys think of the X Division, what do you think? You think about AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, these great pioneers, the Amazing Red, who, by the way, I recently defeated. These amazing pioneers of the X Division that brought a certain style to this division. Jake Something, again, just someone that's just too big for the division. I think will hold down the division. And listen, it's not that I'm backpedaling. It's not that I'm afraid of Jake Something. I'm afraid of what he would do to the division. Now, if he becomes champion, he won't. But if he becomes it, now what? Do we need a guy 4 times his size? Where does it stop? The X Division is famously known for no limits. And I think we need to do away with that. Just because we did in the past doesn't mean it's right for the future. And what I mean by that is when you go on the road, is there not speed limits? When you go on certain rides, is there not weight limits and height requirements? Limits are there to preserve. And what we need to do, what we all need to do, the citizens of TNA Wrestling, what we need to do is preserve the X Division. So please join me this Saturday. We are going to try our best to protest and cancel this match. And who knows, maybe we have a new #1 contender. Maybe we could vote for one. This is a democracy after all. So maybe we can do a live vote, a ballot of sorts.
I like what you're saying, though, because it does take a campaign. And look we've seen things change even recently in pro wrestling because the fans were like, we're not going to do this. We're not going to take this.
Allow me to reiterate something. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can go on to any social media outlet right now, I believe Jake Something isn't right for the X Division. So let's get this hashtag going. Let's our voices be heard. Hashtag Something ain't right.
Mustafa, to me that smells like you're being a chicken shit, like we call it in Oakland.
Whoa! Whoa! He's a guest.
Wow.
He's a
No,
guest.
Can you believe that?
I'm challenging Mustafa Ali. I saw him wrestling Red, so I know what you're about. But come on, man. Come on. Stop
Miss
being a
Rosa,
politician.
see, this is the problem with today's generation. You explain to them that you're doing it for the greater good, and they go, that's like me saying I like waffles, and she's like, well, what about pancakes, you SOB? Well, Miss Rosa, I explained to you that there is no fear. There's no fear in my eyes, in my heart. I fear one man and one man only, and he's the man upstairs. Okay. Now, Jake something is just outside the limits of the X division. I don't know how else to articulate this.
No. I can see you articulate it very well.
Miss Rosa, it's not that I'm talking fast. It's just that you're listening slow. I am here to preserve the X division. That is my only goal. So I don't know what profanity you use. I don't use profanity because it's a sign of the unintelligent.
Excuse me, sir. Let me rephrase it. I feel that you're being chicken shit.
Well, I mean, again,
I don't think that was a rephrasing, by the way.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, I think he just exactly said the same thing he just said before. Mustafa, I apologize. It's the first time you've ever been on the show. First time I got to interview.
First time, last time.
I apologize.
There's no use for profanity.
Okay, sir. I just feel like you're being a coward. I hear it from your beautiful words that you have to say, that there is like a fear of change if this happens, right? And what's gonna happen to this?
Yeah, for the worst.
But to me, that's still fear that comes from inside.
You feel Jake something is naturally a number one contender for the X division. Let me remind you, Miss Rosa, there's nothing natural.
Remind me, sir.
There is nothing natural about Jake something. Okay? There's nothing natural about him. Okay. What I'm looking to do is preserve the time-honored tradition of the X division. Okay, Jake something isn't going to inspire anyone. Who's gonna come into wrestling saying I got into wrestling because of Jake something? It'll never happen. Okay, but very likely with me, just like it happened with AJ Styles. Talk to the best super junior heavyweights of the world today. Talk to a Will Ospreay. Talk to a Ricochet. Talk to me, and we will tell you AJ Styles, Amazing Red, Loki, all these guys inspired us. Do you think Jake something's up to the task?
Jake something's like 100 pounds heavier than Moose. He's like 100 and 280 pounds.
Top qualified.
Everybody's different. I don't get that.
It's the X division. I mean, I'm a fan of the X division. I'm a big fan.
So should there be weigh-ins? Should we bring in weigh-ins? Should there be a height in? Maybe Nick, maybe you want Jake something to go after the X Division Championship because you're afraid if you win the World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday that you're afraid Jake something's going to come after you. Maybe that's the problem. I mean, if we're just throwing out wild accusations, you are welcome to do so. I'm taking our guest's side and saying sometimes people just aren't ready for the spotlight that he is in, and people are hangers on. But I really think Ali is a fantastic representation of the X Division title and is an ambassador to TNA and that championship and hopefully long term. But Jake something, he could rip you in half. He gets his hands on you. I mean, let's just be fair.
Sir, may I I appreciate the kind words, but might I remind you, as the current TNA X Division champion, I also have a very valuable weapon on my side, and that is option C. Now, Mr. Nemeth, I don't know if you know what option C is, but should you be successful this weekend and become the World Heavyweight Champion, I have the option of trading in my X Division Championship for a World Championship opportunity.
Oh, now we're talking.
So again, I appreciate the support, sir, but let's just say I'll be seeing you very, very soon.
Oh, now we're talking.
You will always have my support, but you will not get my TNA World Championship.
Oh, now we're talking. Let's go.
And I say that with peace and love.
Okay. Mustafa, you're very happy with TNA, obviously extremely successful. You bet on yourself. And you're at a time in the WWE when creatively things weren't great. But the world of the WWE has changed. Would you ever consider, obviously not anywhere in the near future, but would you ever consider going back now that the culture and the environment in the WWE has changed since you've left?
So I don't want to steal his quote, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. One of the grizzled young vets was recently on Shane Swerve Strickland's podcast, and I think everyone thinks that like when you leave WWE that it's this. It's not. I saw, and what his words were, he goes, their stock was going up while my personal stock was going down, right? So it just becomes a business decision at this point. Like, okay, I'm going to pull my investment out and go invest in elsewhere. At the end of the day, it's just business. Whatever makes the most sense for me to acquire additional campaign funds, to get greater reach. I'm all for it. I'm all about strategic alliances. And right now I have alliances with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have alliances with TNA Wrestling and a couple more announcements to come very, very soon. But again, I am open to all, but I'm very, very happy as an independent party, as someone that is driving more and more citizens to join the wonderful world of professional wrestling. So I wish WWE well. I know they wish me well. And we'll see what kind of strategic alliance happens in the future.
I'm very happy that you came on for a first time here on Busted Open. I can't wait to watch your match coming up tomorrow night against Jake Something for the X Division Championship. And I hope we get you on again, and maybe we could talk about that option C.
I hope we get that match canceled. But yes, I would love to come back. Thank you for having me.
We'll see if the hashtag works.
Hashtag something ain't right. Please.
Okay.
Something ain't right.
All right.